Okay, one more video today without the camera woman with my head chopped off so you can actually see what I'm talking about rather than just my face as I run my mouth. Today we're going to talk about binoculars, and we're going to talk about two different types of binoculars and what I consider a mistake that a lot of people make, and kind of where certain binoculars actually fit in the picture, primarily not for, let's say, tactical use, but for hunting. Let's start out with a pair of binoculars that I think you'll see probably in the hands of a lot of hunters out there. This is not necessarily the model, but the style. This is a pair of Bushnell binoculars. These are a lower end binocular. I don't care if they're higher binocular. I'm really talking about the form factor and the power. I can't even tell you what model these guys are because they are no longer actually even being produced, so it doesn't even really matter. These are very old. I've had them a very long time, and the issue that I have with them for most people is they're just far too large. They're also far too powerful. You might wonder how binoculars can be too powerful. Well, these are about a 10 power. And I'll tell you what, they're too powerful for the use that I primarily use my binoculars for, not for all uses, period. If you're hunting out in Wyoming or Montana or Idaho, out in the fields rather than the dark timber, and you're out there and you're glassing 300 and 400 yards, a pair of binoculars like this sort of makes sense. The size is still an issue. These are actually really good for people that hunt, let's say, box blinds in South Texas, where you're hunting for white-tailed deer and you kind of, you walk a little bit in or you get dropped off by a truck or something. You go into a box blind, you're not hiking around with these things dangling around your neck, and you're in a very steady location so that when you're using them, you can brace your arms, let's say, on the side of the blind or on the ground the way I am. One thing about magnification, the greater you magnify your movement, which means if you're shaking just a little bit, you're down here just a little bit of shaking, you get a lot of shake in your binoculars. The other thing that happens is you reduce your field of view. Think about this like a digital picture. You're looking at a digital picture online and you expand it till it's just bigger than the screen of your computer. You can see a lot more detail, but you see a lot smaller area of the picture. As you reduce the expansion, you might see less detail, but you see a greater area. Field of view works the same way with binoculars or scopes or any kind of telescope, anything that increases magnification. The greater the magnification, the smaller the area of field of view that you have. Now, the next binoculars I want to talk to you about are made by Leupold. This is a very high quality binocular. Not that Bushnell's not a good manufacturer, but this is just kind of a step up in quality here. These are actually my hunting binoculars. I use these from hunting everything from white-tailed deer to squirrels and things like that. Now, I hunt mostly in East Texas and Arkansas, and I grew up hunting in Pennsylvania where you're hunting timber and woodlands where you're not going to see that far anyway. These are what I call a mid-size binocular. If you look at the Bushnells next to them, they're quite a bit smaller. They're much more comfortable around the neck. Actually, one thing I wanted to tell you while I've got you here is this strap is actually not what came with these. These are kind of, again, a $40, $50 price point binocular. They came with a really crappy plastic strip. This is from SOE Tactical Gear. It's an inexpensive way to add a good strap to your camera or binoculars. And if you have like a bad strap, I recommend you add that. What came with the Leupold is absolutely beautiful. It's kind of a stretchy gel type, and it's very comfortable, easily adjustable, and I love it. These are a 6 power versus a 10 power binocular. What that means is while I have less magnification, 6 is a lot of magnification, especially out to ranges of about 100 yards. So it means I have a wider field of view even though I have a smaller binocular. Now you might ask about those really tiny compact binoculars. If you like them, that's okay. I am much happier with what I consider mid-size, and mid-size to me is anything that's not compact or not full-size and anywhere in between. There's some unique features about these Leupold binoculars that I really think that I wanted to bring out to you though. As you might have noticed in my other videos, I wear glasses, and because of that, when I go to put binoculars up to my face when I'm wearing my glasses, I end up with my binoculars maybe a little bit further away from my eyes than you are. That's called eye relief. Now the problem is, if you've ever looked into a scope with wrong eye relief or anything, your field of view gets decreased. You see this little tiny kind of capsule that you're looking through. Well, what Leupold did that I think is really cool is they have these adjustable eyepieces that allow me right there. That's perfect for my glasses. Basically, it's flat against them, and if you don't wear glasses, you can adjust your eye relief there. It doesn't change your focus. It doesn't change anything. The Bushnell solution to this, and this is a lower end binocular thing that I'm not really fond of, is they have these nice little rubber pieces for your eyes to go against, and then I can just roll these down, and as you can see, they're kind of worn, and I can basically get the same thing. But that rubber is, these are old, you see how it starts to wear out and get tough. So it's a much better product. That's not really, you know, these are better than these type of situation, because obviously we have a $50 pair of binoculars, we have a $100 pair of binoculars, and in most instances, all things being equal, the more expensive binoculars obviously a little bit better quality. Leupold also being just a wonderful glass manufacturer, wonderful scope manufacturer, and a great manufacturer of binoculars. The big thing I want you to take away from this, though, is bigger's not always better, especially when we're talking about binoculars and scopes. I use these for doing things like crawling through the dark timber in Arkansas looking for squirrels, and I'm looking for that tail flashing somewhere out at 80, 90, 100 yards. Plenty of magnification, good field of view. Again, if I was going to be out in Wyoming hunting pronghorn, glassing animals at 400 or 500 yards, I want more magnification. But for the woodland hunter, I think you're going to find you're going to do best with binoculars in the mid-size and with a power range between about 6 and an 8 power. This has been Jack Spirko with another survival podcast video, helping you figure out how to live that better life if times get tough or even if they don't.